Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Human podcast. My name is Easton DeVerna. Each day I'll share a reflection written by me and inspired by literature, poetry, music, movies, video games, and more. And after that, I'll share a prompt for you to write your own reflection. Together, we'll explore what it means to be human. Every month, we'll walk a new path, taking a look at life, death, the universe, and everything in between. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad you're here. For more, visit eastondeverna.com or join me on Instagram at _everydayhuman. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me here at the Everyday Human podcast. It's January 16th. My name is Easton DeVerna. Today's reflection is titled Two Sides of a Coin, and it comes from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's Letters to Natalie Paley. You might be familiar with his most well-known work, The Little Prince, which inspired a few reflections that will come later this year. But to introduce him briefly, he was a French writer, poet, journalist, and aviator. I think I, like most people who know his work, first came upon him from The Little Prince, which I absolutely adore. I started reading this with my kiddo recently. I later read his Flight to Arras, which was an amazing account of his experience as a recon pilot during the Battle of France in 1940. He's one of my favorite writers between that book, Flight to Arras, it's a memoir of sorts, and The Little Prince, which I just cannot get enough of. And from what I understand, Paley and Saint-Exupéry were close friends, and I believe she was a Russian princess, an aristocrat. I don't know too much of their history, how they came to know each other, how they became friends, but I have read some of these letters, and they are quite interesting. And today's quote is an excerpt from those letters from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry to Natalie Paley, and it goes like this. Of course I'll hurt you. Of course you'll hurt me. Of course we will hurt each other. But this is the very condition of existence. To become spring means accepting the risk of winter. To become presence means accepting the risk of absence. And now here's my reflection inspired by that quote. Heads and tails of a coin. Crest and trough of a wave, light and dark, sound and silence, good and evil, love and hate, life and death. You can't have one without the other. This is nothing new. Considering the dichotomy of our existence and all that exists alongside us is ingrained in our very being. We've ruminated over it since we first opened our eyes and since the first thought was born. But with every breath you take, and with every moment you break off a piece of your soul and give it to another in the form of love, it bears repeating. You will hurt those you love, and they will hurt you, intentional or not, or at the very least, through the inevitability of death. You will hurt yourself, and you will also love yourself. There is nothing wrong with this. It is just nature running its course, just as much as a tree bears leaves in the spring and sheds them in autumn, as a river will run and then dry out. But as humans, we have the ability to temper our nature. We have the power of perspective, and we can see both sides of the coin. We can choose to be more present and less absent, to work toward hurting less and loving more. And that's it for my reflection today. That was a short one, but I hope it gives you a little bit to think about, or a lot, depending on how much time you have to sit down and think. And that will bring us to our reflection question that you can write down in your journal, jot some thoughts about wherever you might be keeping them, or just consider it while you're taking a walk or looking out the window. So ask yourself this. What side of the coin have I been on lately? If I am on the side of hurt, how can I flip it to the side of love? And that's all for today. Thanks again for coming by. I'll see you tomorrow, January 17th, with another reflection. Have a good one and take care.